1%. Just put that amount of extra effort each and every single day. Do that and you can potentially transform your entire life. But how is that possible? Well, there are a lot of people out there waiting, wishing, and wanting to do more and be better. But sometimes the goal seems so grand and far away, you end up becoming demotivated and eventually give up. In fact, according to some research, about 80% of people give up on their goals by the beginning of February. That's just 1 month since setting them from the start of the new year. A lot of that comes from feeling overwhelmed or not having the right plan in process. But that's exactly why you need to remember all it takes is 1% of extra effort each day done consistently to change things. Success does not come in large bursts of tsunamis. Instead, it's an accumulation of small, gentle waves that build up into something great. That's the essence of marginal gains, which I'll talk about in this video. But before I do so, I appreciate if you like this video and subscribe to the channel as it helps me to continue help you mine the gold in mind. So, going back to marginal gains, or as some call it micro excellence, it's all about finding and executing tiny margins of improvement in whatever you do, bit by bit, day by day. Every successful person you've seen, whether they're an artist, musician, businessman, athlete, painter, writer, or whatever, they've not reached that level of success simply from one magical act. No, as one of my favorite quotes by Aristotle goes, "We are what we do. Excellence, therefore, is not an act, but a habit." But as noted earlier, 80% of people are said to have quit their resolutions within 1 month of a new year. So why is it that so many of us quit on our goals so early? Oftentimes, we fall in love with our ideas more than actual thing itself. Whether that be an idea of a person we want to be or the idea of living a specific lifestyle without really considering the consequences of said lifestyle, we all want to be that famous tech entrepreneur, yet don't want to sit in the dark room for years alone, grinding through the process of building out that business. We want to reap the benefits of the fantasy, but never endure the pains of the actual reality. In other words, we care more about the outcome instead of the process. We want to be super fit without having to learn to really control our eating habits, understand nutrition, learn the proper form of each exercise, and so on. And another reason why we quit is because we care too much about what others may think. Whether it's our friends, family, or perhaps even strangers we don't even know, people are fearful of rejection. And so the very thought of failure is depicted and seen as shameful, and with that comes this desire to avoid such a feeling. And then of course, there is a problem of discipline and distraction. Social media has made these issues worse, and I cover this in countless other videos as well, which you can check out after this. But often or not, we chase that new shiny thing that comes our way instead of sticking through what we believe in. This only gets harder with constant attention-grabbing posts and news we get thrown at us. One moment we think we should be doing A, then another we think it should be B, and we're just bouncing from the next new thing. We're constantly flip-flopping over the endless amount of potential ideas that we never really get started, or we just give up without really diving truly into that one thing. The grass is supposedly greener on the other side. Or as some say, we don't finish what's on our plate because we want to order that other thing we saw on another person's plate. And then of course, another reason why we end up giving up so quickly is because the belief in self. This is more important than any other, as if we don't believe we can achieve whatever we're doing, and how can it ever become real? Whether it's the doubting demons inside of you or the negative pessimists around you, when you don't believe, you won't achieve. It's really just as simple as that. So then, why does this all have to do with marginal gains? Well, because whether it's learning to be less distracted or more disciplined, learning to stop yourself from overworrying, overanalyzing, overthinking your goals, this is the first step to actually doing them. Ideas are great, but without action, you won't get anywhere. Oftentimes, trying to make that first initial step is the toughest part. But that's where you need to remember exactly what I said at the start of this video. All you need is that 1% of extra effort each day, every day. When you think about all the massive changes that are required, it's easy to feel overwhelmed, or perhaps even demotivated since the journey feels so long. But small, consistent improvements are what compound over time. Whether it's tweaking your daily routine and making small changes to your diet or refining a business process, every little improvement counts. To give you a bit of perspective on the power of these marginal gains, let's look at the story of the famous British cycling team and Sir Dave Brailsford. The term itself, marginal gains, was popularized by Brailsford, a performance director who reshaped British cycling completely. For years, the British cycling team had never won any medals. In fact, they were relatively unknown in the cycling world. No one paid any attention to them. Yet, under Brailsford's leadership, the team lived by the 1% marginal gains idea. Every day, they implemented small changes, from painting the floors of their transport trucks white as to easily spot dust particles, to changing the mattresses and pillows they slept on each night as to get optimal rest. These changes, while seemingly irrelevant and minute individually, collectively played a huge role in enhancing the team's overall performance. The team didn't focus on reinventing the wheel. They just looked for tiny, often overlooked areas where they can be marginally better. This approach, done by each team member every day, consistently, eventually instilled a culture of continuous improvement, where every member consistently sought ways to do and be better, no matter how minute that change was. Through this training, while doubtful at first, the cycling team eventually ended up going from nobodies to winning 16 Olympic gold medals and 7 Tour de France wins within 8 years. The biggest change they did were the small improvements done over time. But remember, this isn't just about sports and physical activity. The beauty of the marginal gains idea is that it is universally applicable. You don't need to be aiming to become an Olympic champion. You can implement this into your personal life, whether it's about improving your health, learning a new skill, managing your finances, or eliminating a single bad habit from your routine. If you want to get fit, start off with 13-minute exercises each day. Does that feel too long for you? Then begin with 15 minutes first. If you want to stop smoking, start off by eliminating 1 or 2 cigarettes from your daily amount per day. Want to learn a new language? Start off by just picking up 5 new words every other day. If you want to build a business, start off by getting at least 1 new additional step done to get your brand out there. All of this does sound rather easy and straightforward, but it's consistency that matters. Marginal gains is more than just a strategy, it's a mindset. It's about creating a culture that values and seeks continuous improvement. If you feel that the first initial step feels stagnant after the first 7 days, then add 1 more extra step of accomplishment to that daily goal. The point is to look for small ways to improve. It can be hard not to get overexcited and let your imagination wander into this realm of fantasy. But remember, this is where so many people who want to start a business or learn a skill get lost in the noise, as they spend hours and hours researching, trying to get every little detail right before actually doing anything worth noting. So of course, if you can manage to do more, then do more. But sometimes when you're not seeing the results you wish, or you feel stagnant or lazy, this is where you need to remember, just put 1% of extra effort more, going a bit more beyond what you did previously, and that's about it. Most likely, by the time you're in the motion of just that 1%, you'll already be in the zone wanting to do more anyway. And that's exactly the point. As you go about your day, look at what you do, what you eat, how you think, and everything in between, and ask yourself, what can I do to improve myself just 1% more today? So if you've enjoyed this video and found it helpful, hopefully along your journey to change your life, I'd appreciate if you like this video and perhaps just give me that 1% added effort of hitting that subscribe button, giving me that extra 1% of that motivation to continue helping you mind the goal in line.